Hey y'all, let's make some spaghetti and I'm going to doctor it up with that spaghetti that was on sale at Kroger today when I went in and did that video. If you didn't see it, look for it. I put it up this morning and it's like $5 and $10 meats and savings, and also included the Aldi deal, not in the video but on the in the description. Now I picked up two of these. I don't know if I'm going to use one or two. I'll decide when I get the skillet started. One of them is garden sauce and one of them is sauteed onion and garlic. But we are going to go ahead and chop us up some onion, which is sweet onion, and a bell pepper real quick. Now I'm going to take some olive oil and we are going to saute the onion and the peppers. Now you don't have to do all this. You could just eat it as is. Um, Never hurts to doctor something up a little bit though. Fix my oil thing while I'm here. And then we're going to use, these is another part of the reduced. I'm going to use probably about 4 of those patties just so we'll have some meat in our sauce. And these were marked down to $6.41 today, and there's 8 of them. So that was a really good deal on ground beef when you can use it for something else. I got some water back here. I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of, or a lot of salt in that. That's for the pasta. And that was also on sale. All the pasta out there that was Kroger brand was 4 for $5. So, and the spaghettis were like $1.49, I believe. So far that's a couple of bucks, really less. And then just add 3, so about $5 is going to make the supper, minus the pepper, onion, and the canned tomatoes I'm going to use. Let's go ahead and do those real quick. I got some King Hawaiian rolls, so even with those, this entire supper would be less than $10, even with the add-ons, since the meat is that cheap. Now I'm just gonna let those saute for a little bit and get tender, and then I'll throw our ground beef in here. I add a little bit of minced garlic, just a little bit. It's also got basil in it, but I went outside and got me some of the fresh basil. I need to pick the rest of that. It's gonna die off. I need to pick it. Now we're just gonna break up some of these hamburger patties. And truly, if you're stretching it, you could just use, you know, there's 8 of them. I'm probably only going to use 4 at the best. You could get away with 3. You still have 5 hamburgers left. You just got to freeze it. Now, I'll go ahead and add the 4th. I'll have 4 left I can freeze. A quick burger later. Now, let me wash my hands off. I'll be back. If it's browned and then if there's a lot of grease in it, I will drain it. What was in it before was olive oil, which wouldn't have hurt nothing, but I don't want a lot of fat in the beef. We'll see. We'll see how much is in it by the time it's done. Let me tell you this. I went outside and I picked some fresh basil that's flowering. So I'm going to wash that and chop it up. Still going. We still got some pink. I just washed up all my basil and I'm going to chop it up. I may chop it in that little chopper, but I'm not sure that'll work. I usually just do it with my paring knife. We stuck it here. We're going to see if it'll work. It works really well when you got, you know, I'm just not sure it'll hit those leaves. There's not a lot of them in there. That's roughly chopped. That's really all we need for the spaghetti. I'll do the chunky garden combo. Yeah, I'll probably end up using both jars. Just because we're pigs, and that one we'll have leftovers for tomorrow. So I'm going to do 2. So now it's $3 if you're feeding pigs like me. They're $1.49 each this week at Kroger, the Ragu is. Now we're going to add a can. I've got a 28-ounce can since I opened both of those. And I drained them because I don't want super duper runny spaghetti. So now we got us some chunky. That's what I call chunky. And then we'll have we'll put it back. I drained it. Our onion, our pepper, our garlic, our ground beef. Eventually, I'm going to put my pasta back there, and it's still not come to a boil, y'all. So put a lid on it, trying to rush it along. And this will just get to simmer a little longer. Now let's get that fresh basil over here I chopped up. We'll sprinkle that throughout it. It's wet. It's hard to do. When it's soaking wet, it's sticking to me. So, a little basil. And then I'm still going to take, just because, let me see. Let me get a spoon. Get a little taste. Oh, yeah, you need some stuff. Not a lot. It's got plenty of salt. You definitely don't want no salt. I'm going to sprinkle, well, another teaspoon or so of Italian seasoning on it. Now our water back there is boiling. And I've got some angel hair pasta I'll put back there. Let's open that up, throw that in there. I'm breaking my pasta. Throw it in our salt water back here. I'm going to go ahead and do pretty much all of it, just about the whole box. That's what we'll probably be eating for lunch tomorrow. I don't know, though. They devour this whenever I make it. Because we had this growing up, probably because it is cheap. So much that I wouldn't make it for the longest. Right now, I'm going to just turn this down to low and let that simmer. And we'll get us some rolls behind us ready. Got some King Hawaiian rolls, and I got me some melted butter right here. Now, you could leave these plain. They are perfectly delicious. And I got some basil minced garlic. I'm going to add a good bit of that. We are going to brush that on these across the top. And then put them in the oven for a few. I'll spread that garlic out a little bit. I'm drowning them in butter. I am. But yum. Okay. I'm going to throw them in the oven to warm up. Okay. Let's make us a plate. But first, If you didn't do all these extras, it would only cost you about $5. Even with the meat. Because, well, now I use two. I use two ragus. So if you use two, that would be $3. $3 worth of meat because I half that and it was a $6 something pack. So $6. These were $1 quarter, 7.25. I got rolls. You wouldn't have to do all that. So you could eat under $10 easily if you didn't even do all these extras. And even with the extras, if you've got it at home, like I had parm cheese, but you can get that for $2 or $3 a bag. These are probably $3 or $4. The King's Hawaiian rolls. But you could eat the spaghetti for $5. And this is a lot of spaghetti. So let's make us a plate. That's a lot of pasta. So I'm going to get me a decent amount on here. And then here's how you doctor up your spaghetti. Whatever the basil I had. The diced tomatoes. Great value. Probably not much more than a couple of dollars. Now we're going to throw some shredded parm over the top of this. Just like so. Cut us out one of these buttery, man, these are buttery and full of garlicky goodness. Couple of rolls. That's our spaghetti supper tonight. It looks like I burnt those, but it's the lighting again. I'd have to show them to you. Somebody can't hardly show you somewhere else. Anyway, trust me, it's the lighting. They're good. Anyway, y'all have a good night. And go shop your Kroger if you got one. Look for those deals.